This is wild. Despite the Boston Red Sox having a surplus of talent in the outfield as well as at DH, they're in connections with right-handed power bat Jorge Soler. I'm here to break down how that would be a bad move for the Boston Red Sox on this episode of Red Sox Digest. So let's get to it and break down, can Jorge Soler land in Boston? And the blunt and short answer to this question is absolutely yes. It's going to be very easy if both parties are open to doing so. But let's break down a few moving parts before we get into that. The first part is understanding how the Boston Red Sox situation currently looks. Now, obviously, we have a lot of talent in the outfield. There's no real way around it. We have a lot of young and promising talent at that, too. We have Jarren Duran, Wyler Abreu, Rafaela is a great piece. Emmanuel Valdez, another great piece. And then Masataka Yoshida is obviously another outfield option who's been playing a lot of DH due to injuries. Again, we'll break down that in just a bit, in a little bit more depth. But again, and then we look at DH. Obviously, you have Connor Wong, who's a backup catcher. He can play also first base. And then Tristan Casas, who's usually our starting first baseman. So we have a few options, and obviously the last year's acquisition in Danny Jansen from the rival Blue Jays. So that we do have a bit of depth in all two of those positions, if you want to count the outfield as a one. But again, why is this such a big conversation? Well, Braves trade proposal ships $42 million slugger to the Red Sox in 1-for-1 swap. Yes, this would check a box for a right-handed bat to add to this lineup, which is desperately needed. It's one of the two things this Boston Red Sox team desperately needs this offseason, as well as with pitching. Obviously, we need starting pitching, we need closing pitching, we need relief, we need pitching overall. There's no way around it, and we need it bad. And obviously, we also need those right-handed bats, and obviously, Soler would definitely be a right-handed bat in this lineup, but is he going to be as valuable as you may think, or as the name may come off as? And what do I mean by that? Well, it's not 2023 anymore. Last time we checked, Jorge Soler went from the Braves, then to the he went from the Giants to the Atlanta Braves, and now he looks to be traded once again because the overall production this past season wasn't as high as some people were really expecting, specifically the Giants and the Braves. He slashed 241 with a 338 on base percentage. He did have those 21 home runs and 64 RBIs, but again, it's nothing like the year prior when he was with the Marlins and he had 36 home runs, and he felt like a lot like Stanton in some ways, where if you threw him a strike over the plate, you were most likely going to lose it at a very, very fast pace. But now it seems like he's very hit or miss, and we have his baseball savant that we can look through really quickly if you'd like, where obviously it shows a lot of highlights when it comes to the offensive production, nothing otherworldly, but again, he is a above average hitter overall. There's no way around it. But if you look at other things like the fielding or the base running, he is close to abysmal. And he's subpar in both of those categories, and there's no way around it. He's never been a great defender in the field, whether it's been early in his career or now later in his career. He's always been a big offensive guy at the plate, can hit very, very, very far home runs, as everyone remembers the massive 3-run shot he hit against the Houston Astros that went over the train tracks. I'm convinced that ball never landed yet. And again, I love watching that because I like watching the Astros lose horrifically, so that's always fun. But again, does Jorge Soler still have that pop and still have that ability to do it in the big moment? Hit 30, 35 plus home runs a year. I'm not sure if that's what you're going to get. And really, when it gets down to the nitty gritty of it, where the hell is he going to play? Now, he could put him at DH, but again, Yoshida has been playing DH dominantly because he's only played in last season in 2023. He only played 87 games in left field, and this year he only played 1 inning in the outfield. Now, that could be due to injuries, as we've seen a lot of injuries for Yoshida in the past. Obviously, this is from months ago, but again, this is the Yoshida latest to the IL, and again, it wasn't the last time we saw this, as this was a different news story about a different injury to Masataka Yoshida, recovering from a shoulder injury. So again, This is very interesting for the Boston Red Sox. Obviously, this article goes on to say Red Sox designated hitter Yoshida is recovering from surgery to repair the labrum in his right shoulder. The team announced Wednesday that Yoshida, 31, underwent successful surgery on October 3rd. Dr. Evan O'Donnell performed the procedure at Massachusetts General Hospital. The Red Sox didn't say whether he'd be ready for the start of spring training. So just some other injury going on with Yoshida that makes you think, is he going to go back and play in the outfield? Now, why would he with this much talent and depth in Abreu and Duran, Rafaela, Gomez and Valdez, all young pieces that are promising. Obviously, offensively, they're not the greatest production-wise. Obviously, Duran just had a career year. Rafaela has a lot of upside, as well as Abreu and all these other guys. But if we go out and get Soler, just think, if we go out and get Soler, are we going to put him at DH? Obviously, Yoshida isn't going to play every single game, but then again, Connor Wong, Tristan Casas, is he playing first base every single game that he is lacing up his cleats? Again, there is a lot of big questions to ask here for this Boston Red Sox team. And again, one of the biggest one is and are we going to trade the number 12th ranked prospect in our farm system for someone in Jorge Soler that, again, we've already broken down the Baseball Savant page. Don't get carried away with the little bit of red you see. If it's not the dark red, he's not standing out amongst the rest of the league. Obviously, there's almost 2.5 categories where he is standing out amongst those guys. But again, there is a lot under average things that he does for specific teams that he plays for. And again, coming off of last year was not the brightest season or brightest year of his career. So again, are we buying low here and expecting it to work out? And again, he's getting paid $42 million. He's not like he's on a minimum contract. So again, we still would have to pay Mr. Soler. And again, this proposed trade from fan-sided Zach Presnell, proposed this trade that sends Jorge Soler to the Boston Red Sox, saying the Braves receive outfielder Jhostynxon Garcia, the 12th ranked prospect in the Boston Red Sox organization right now, or in the farm system, if you will. I apologize if I mispronounced that. I looked endlessly on to make sure I was pronouncing it correctly, but it seems like no one says it the right way consecutive times. So again, we'll move on. And again, it would be a 1-for-1 trade. So Garcia, the 12th ranked prospect, would be being traded to the Atlanta Braves straight up for Jorge Soler. Now, we'd be moving a young piece of talent. Again, Garcia is, again, the 12th ranked prospect. He's only 21 years of age. And if you have not seen this kid, he's built like a tank. He's huge for 21 years of age. He has crazy pop at the plate. He is a right-handed bat. So the Boston Red Sox are in a very interesting position here with this idea. Now, there's a few quotes we are going to break down in this article as they go on to say this, and I quote, "For the Braves, they're going to be better off trading Soler anyway. Soler was a bad defender last season, though we admire him for trying, and Atlanta just doesn't have a place to put him," wrote Presnell. Going on to say, and I quote again, "Soler was a solid addition as Atlanta looked for a spark in 2024, but with Marcell Ozuna taking up the DH slot, there's no long-term place for him in the lineup." And again, it seems like this is going to be the same exact idea for the Boston Red Sox. Tristan Casas is younger than Soler without a doubt, and he's going to be there longer than in the Boston Red Sox organization than obviously Jorge Soler. It would be something just like the Braves going out and getting Soler last season, in the sense that the Red Sox would maybe be just looking for a big spark, a big pop in the lineup that could really just ignite things for this Red Sox team and really just flip the offensive switch for this team whenever he does manage to hit that big home run at the midway point, if not late in the year, for this Boston Red Sox team. That really just flips all of the momentum overall. Now, Presnell goes on to say, and I quote, "Garcia, 21, is a good prospect, though he is still considered raw in terms of his talent. He worked his way from low A to high A to double A last season, slashing .286 with a 356 OBS and a .536 slugging along the way," wrote Presnell. Across 107 games, Garcia smashed 23 home runs, 24 doubles, and 5 triples while stealing 17 bases. He's a good prospect across the board, with his hit tool being his only questionable trait. Now, if you are hitting 23 home runs and 24 doubles with 5 triples and stealing 17 bags in 107 games, I'm very much questioning the fact that his hit tool is going to be the biggest question biggest questionable trait, is the quote that we got here from Presnell. If I were the Boston Red Sox and I had any actual input in this organization, there is no way I'm making this trade. I would love to know what you guys think down below. Please let me know what you guys think of this possible trade. I would never move a 21-year-old prospect for someone in Jorge Soler, who, again, he's not horrible. There's no way to say Jorge Soler is horrible, but again, 32 years of age. After the season he just had, cooling off dramatically after playing in Miami, where he hit 36 home runs. I would not move a young piece of promising talent who has so much upside on both sides of the ball for a player that would only be in your organization for 1 to 2 years max. There's no way he's going to be there longer than that. He's going to be just a loner option to look for an offensive spark plug. And again, I don't think it will work out for this Boston Red Sox organization if they end up trying to make this move. One more look at his Baseball Savant page. Again, the fielding is going to be drastic. Even with Yoshida's hurt right labrum, I think I'd rather him in the outfield over Jorge Soler, despite him Yoshida not being the greatest defender in the world either. But again, that'll be it for this episode of Red Sox Digest. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys on the next one.